Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Glacial Geek Kill Team Battle Report. I am Phil, the Glacial Geek, coming to you here from Savannah Lion Games in Pooler, Georgia, where I'm about to fight a kill team battle between my Dark Angel Assault Intercessors and Harris's Orks. He's got the Greenskins. The story that we've got going on here is that the Orks were descended upon this planet and were ravaging through the Imperial cities here, and the Dark Angels looting, shooting, doing what Orks do. And the Dark Angels descended upon the planet to try to clear them out, and they sent in a fast reaction force here to try to clear out a group of Greenskins that were causing trouble in this location in particular. So they sent in a fast assault intercessor squad to try to go run in and chop them down before they could become even more of a problem. That is the story. We are going to be playing the Seize Ground mission. Essentially, there are 6 objectives, three sets of 2 on either side of the board closest to our deployment zones. Essentially, if you control it at the end of any turning point, if you control objective at the end of any turning point, you have seized that ground, and it stays under your control until your opponent controls that objective. So your opponent can move on to it and take it back from you, but if you control it at the end of a turning point, you can move off of it and still score the points from it, which is pretty good. At the end of each turning point, if you control at least 2, you score a point. If you control more than your opponent, you score an additional point. And if you control 1 point, if you control 1 objective in your opponent's half of the board, you score a point. And if you control at least 2 in your opponent's half of the board, you score an additional point. So a maximum of 4 points. We've also chosen 3 secondary tac ops here, secondary objectives there that we can play with, that we both chosen them, and we will reveal them as they score us points as we go forward. So that is the story. That is the mission. Before we go any further, though, let's show you the 2 kill teams that are going to be fighting it out. So for the Space Marines, I will have a Assault Intercessor fire team. And for the Greenskins, he will be running a Boys fire team and a Specialist fire team. Going over deployment for the Marines here, I've got an Assault Intercessor. I have an Assault Intercessor here. I've got an Assault Intercessor, and then I've got my Assault Intercessor Sergeant. Then going over deployment for the Orks, we have 2 Ork boys on the flank. We've got a Luda and another Ork boy. We've got an Ork Knob with a Power Claw there, and a Luda, 2 more Ork boys, and a Luda. So because he's got the boys and a Luda killed fire team, right? A specialist squad is spelled with with a SH because it's Orky, and a boys fire team there for his kill team. So that is deployment. We are now going to do our the scouting phase. Essentially what it is you have 3 different options. If you choose to fortify, you get to place a 3rd barricade. If you choose to infiltrate, it'll allow you to change one of your activation tokens during the first turning point. And if you choose recon, it'll allow you to get a free dash move at the beginning of the game. This will also act as a way for determining initiative for the first turn in rock, paper, scissors method. So fortify will beat infiltrate, infiltrate will beat recon, and then recon will beat fortify. So we will now reveal it at the same time, and we will determine who will have initiative. Boom! We both chose 3. So we both chose 3, which means that we both have will have our dash action, and I think that I can't remember once. So I was the attacker. Man, one of those. Yeah, exactly. One of those brain fart moments. I couldn't remember what was going on, but we figured it out. I was the attacker, so I will choose who will have initiative. And surprise, surprise, I'm going to choose. Actually, you know what? No, I'm actually going to surprise. I think I'm actually going to choose my opponent to go first. So I'll give him the initiative going in that first turn. Yeah, we'll see if this works out for me. I don't know if it will. We'll see. All right, so that is going to be that. We will come back to you with the strategy phase of the first turning point here. All right, so into the strategy step here. We both gained a CP. We also both started with 2 CP because we both have leaders on the board. leaving us with 3 CP. My opponent then spent 1 CP on WAAAAAAGH, which allows him, if he retains a crit in a shooting attack, he can retain a regular hit as a crit as well for all of his shooting attacks, which is pretty good. I'm not going to spend any CP on any strategic ploys right now. And then we both don't have any tac ops to reveal here in this turning point. So we will then move on to the firefight step. All right, so my opponent is going to activate his first guy first. He's going to move. He dashed and then moved up over here for his. He used him for the free dash to get him into position. Then he moved up over to here, and he's going to spend a second APL to fire into my leader because he has the vantage point up there, allowing him to ignore the conceal there. So he is going to have the Luda here. All right, so he's going to have 5 dice here, looking for 5s to hit.
No, the platform.
Alrighty, getting 1 crit.
Which lets me retain an additional as a normal hit.
Which allows him to, oh, so one second. So WAAAAAAGH, I was mistaken. A crit allows you to take a miss as a normal hit. So he's going to have the crit and the normal hit. So I'm going to take the cover with my guy there. So he's going to take the 1 save there. And then basically looking for fill faces, or I guess another save will be good for taking out that crit there. So I got 2 regular saves, which will cancel out the crit. So what's the damage? Is 4 damage from the regular. My activation will move my Assault Intercessor from here. He's going to move and dash onto the objective over here. His other Luda is going to move up onto that position over there, and then he's going to shoot into my Sergeant over here. Looking for 5s, and WAAAAAAGH.
Yeah!
So he does get a crit, and he is going to retain that to become a regular hit. So he's got a crit and a regular hit.
And I will CP one of these.
And he's going to CP one of them. May as well. There you go.
Let's go.
Do it. No, not meant to be. So I will take 1 regular save from the cover over there, and then fish in for fill faces. No, don't get either. I'm going to spend a CP on one of these. And I get a regular save, which will cancel out the crit, but I still take 4 damage there. I'm going to activate my Sergeant to move and dash over to the objective over there. And now his other Luda is going to move into position over there, and he's going to take a shot at my Sergeant, looking for 5s. Wow, getting a crit and 1 hit, so that's going to be a crit and 2 hits there. So now I'm going to take a regular save, and then I've got basically fishing for crits here. No, got a regular save. I'm going to cancel. What's the damage that you got going on? All right, I'm going to spend a CP to reroll because I need at least 1 save. If I get a save, I think I will be alive. So I just need at least 1 more save. And with that 5, he's still alive, but very hurt. But I will take alive. Woo! This guy over here moved and dashed into position back over here by the objective. And then his last Luda is going to move into position over here and fire into my Sergeant again. He does not like my Sergeant. So looking for 5s.
The crew hired the Orks.
The crew hired the Orks. Oh man, that's really good. So getting a crit and a regular hit, and then 2 regular hits because he's going to turn that because of WAAAAAAAGH. So it's going to be a crit and 2 regular hits. I am going to take 1 regular save, and then basically fishing for 6s, fill faces. Getting 2 regular saves. He will be dead unless I do this. So I'm going to have to spend my last CP to reroll one of these, fishing for a 6. Come on, show me that fill face. Show me that fill face. Fill face! No, it fell off the table. Fill face! No! So he is going to be dead. And my opponent revealed 2 of his tac ops here. He revealed Headhunter, so just kill the enemy leader. And it was in the first turning point, so he scores 2 points for that. And then he had Deadly Marksman, and that guy was his Deadly Marksman, so he managed to kill him. And if he lives to the end of the battle, he will score another VP. So, pretty good, pretty good. And then my other Assault Intercessor here is going to move and dash into position over there. Then my opponent's going to activate his boy here, who's going to move and dash onto the objective there. And then my last Intercessor is going to activate, moving and dashing onto the objective over there. The only ones in range of his gun for his 3rd APL would be to shoot these guys, but they are concealed and being covered by these barrels here in cover, so not shooting them. Then my opponent's going to move onto the objective over there, move and dash onto the objective over there with his other boy. All right, so then his knob moved on and advanced, or moved and dashed onto the objective over here.
The rest of your guys.
And then my opponent moved and dashed into the position over there with his boy. So now I can finally Overwatch. I wasn't able to Overwatch before because of me being concealed or his guys being concealed, but now I can see with a guy who has an engaged token, so I'm going to fire over there. So I've got 4 shots that are going to be hitting on 4s because it is Overwatch with a -1. All right, so I got a crit and 1 hit. So it's going to be P1, so -1 to your save there.
2 dice on 4
So you're going to have
ups.
2 dice looking for 4 ups over here.
And don't forget, you count the flying, so
Getting both of them, so you're going to ignore the crit, which I think means you're going to take 3 damage. And then my opponent's last 2 activations, since all my guys are obscured, it didn't make a difference there. Everyone's just looking at each other over there. He's going to move. They're going to move and dash onto the objective over here. All right, so that's going to be the end of the first turning point here. We both control 3 objectives. The 3 in I control the 3 in my table side here, and my opponent has more APL on this, so he controls all 3 on his table side over here. So that's going to be giving us each 1 point there because we both control at least 2, and we don't control more than our opponents, and we don't control any in our opponent's deployment zones, or halves. So now we are going to roll to see who will have initiative going into turning point number 2. Opponent rolled a 6, I rolled a 4, so we'll come back to you after with these turning point number 2. All right, so going into the strategy step here of the turning point, we both gained a CP, putting my opponent at 2, myself at 1. I then spent 1 CP on Shock Assault, allowing me to do the fight action twice, and my opponent spent 2 CP, 1 on WAAAAAAAGH, which allows him during a fight, if he retains 2 regular hits, he can take one of them, turn one of them into a crit, and he has also chosen to do get stuck in, which allows him to reroll 1 die when he does the fight action. So it's only when he does the action. So not if I do a fight and he has to reroll. It's only if he's doing the action that he gets to reroll 1. So we're both at 0 CP, pretty good. I then into the target reveal step, I do reveal one of my tac ops, which is route. You can reveal this tac op at the target reveal step of any turning point. If an enemy operative is incapacitated by a friendly operative that is within red of your opponent's drop zone, you score 1 VP. So we'll see if I'm able to do that. So that's going to be it for the strategy step. We will come back to you with the firefight step. All right, so now into the first activation here for the firefight step. My opponent's going to activate his knob, who is going to charge into my intercessor on the other side of the wall over here. So we are now going to fight with our dice.
4 attacks.
My opponent has 4 attacks, looking for 3s. I've got 5 attacks, looking for 3s with my chainsword over here. My opponent has brutal 1 sec. Yep, I don't have any special rules, but I do have 5 dice doing 4 or 5 damage, looking for 3s. My opponent's looking for 3s as well. All right, we'll come back to that. My opponent's going to reroll 1 because of get stuck in. Becomes another hit, and because he has 2 regular, that becomes another crit up there. I'm actually going to spend, I don't have any CP to spend, so I don't have anything I can do there. So this is what we've got. We'll come back to you with this. All right, so into the fight phase here, my opponent is going to strike with his crit. I will parry with my crit. Because it's brutal, I could only parry with crits, so I parried his crit with my crit. My opponent then struck with his regular attack here. So this did 7 damage, right? Did 7 damage, and this one did 5 damage, leaving me with 1 wound left. And then my last 2 will go through, which I think is for 4 damage apiece. So that's going to be 8 damage into my opponent. All right, so now my intercessor has activated on the left flank over here. I charged into those 2 boys, and I'm going to attack the guy on the left. So my opponent does have support, so he's going to be hitting on 2s. He's going to have 4 dice looking for 2s. He still has, he still gets the benefit of Y. He doesn't get to reroll 1. Doesn't get stuck in because that's only if he does the action. And then he is going to have, but he does, if he does have 2 regular hits, one of them can become a crit. So I'm going to have 5 dice here looking for 3s. All right, so we've decided that we're going to end up washing because I'm going to parry. My opponent said he's going to parry. I will then parry, and then my opponent parries. So no one takes any wound. But then because of Shock Assault, I'm going to strike again. That was even worse. Oh, buddy. All right, so I got a crit and a regular, and my opponent just got a crit. All right, so I'm going to parry with my crit and then just strike him for 4 damage. And now my opponent is going to activate his orc boy that was over on the outside over there that wasn't engaged in combat. He's going to charge in to me over here. So we both have 5 attacks. My opponent's, or no, if you have 4 attacks. 4 attacks. I've got 5 attacks. My opponent's hitting on 2s because of support here. I'm hitting on 3s. All right, we'll come back to that. My opponent gets to reroll 1 because of get stuck in.
That too is a hit because of spark.
Those are hits, yes. That's going to be 3 hits, and then one of those becomes a crit because of WAAAAAAAAAAH and because of WAAAAAAAAH. All right, so my opponent struck me with his crit. I then parried his crit. My opponent then parried my regular hit and then struck me with his last one there. All right, so now my activation, this Assault Intercessor is going to charge into these boys over on this side. I'm going to strike into the red guy now with a fight activation. Hitting on 3s, my opponent's hitting on 2s. All right, we'll come back to you. All right, so now we are going, when we talked it out, figured out what we're going to do. I'm going to strike, my opponent's going to strike, I'm going to strike, my opponent's going to strike, and then I will remove him there with that. And that did score me 1 for rep. And now with his third APL, his third AP, he's going to activate to strike into him here because, so I know I'm pretty much dead regardless of when I activate here, but the only thing is when he activates, all he needs is the 1 strike, and I'm not going to be doing any damage, and he's going to kill me regardless. Nothing I can do there. So he's just going to go in there and just keep getting stuck in, try to kill him. I'm hitting on 4s now. My opponent's hitting on 3s. All right, so I got 3, but my opponent got anything there, so I'm going to strike, and my opponent will get me. Even with a regular one, he would have killed me. So I am dead, but he takes 4 damage. So now my opponent's going to activate his Luda, who is going to move up to this position, and he can just get some line of sight on my guy here because I'm closer than circle to this heavy cover here, so it's not obscuring. But I am in cover, but because he's got the vantage, he ignores my engagement, my obscuring there. So he's going to have his 5 shots looking for 5s.
That's pretty good.
There you go. That's real good. So you got a crit and 2 regular. So I will take my cover save of my 1 regular, and then I'm probably looking for crits. I really want to see some fill faces. Ah, I got the fill face and a regular. That sounds like a good save. Woo! And now my intercessor over here activated. He's going to charge into his leader on this side. So I'm going to have my 5 attacks looking for 2s to hit because I've got support. My opponent's going to have his 4 attacks looking for 3s to hit because he's got the power claw there. 4s because he's wounded, so he's wounded over there. So 4s, and I'm looking for 2s.
That's 3 crits.
I got the 1 crit there, which is enough to do 5 damage to him right off the bat and take him out of action. And I also had Headhunter. Hey, so I'll take that. So now his healthy boy over there is going to attack into my guy over here. So I'm going to have 5 attacks looking for 3s. My opponent's looking for 2s to hit. We'll come back to you with it. Yeah, the crit with the chopper there will just straight up yank me. And then my opponent scored Rob and Ransack with that. So it means that he will, when he killed that guy over there, he did it so
Brain's getting dragged back.
so you guys, because the second part here, it doesn't count. That's wrong on the card there. Essentially what it is, he scores a VP by doing that. And if that boy over here survives until the end of the game, he will score a second VP. And then my activation is going to be my guy who's wounded by there is going to move up and then shoot him with his bolt pistol. I've got 4 shots here, looking for 4s to hit because he's definitely wounded with that 1 wound left. I'm gonna. He has the whatchamacallit, the purity seal, so he can reroll 1 of his, and it doesn't matter. So my opponent will just take cover, and he'll be good to go. So now his Luda over here is going to activate and shoot into my dude, bro.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at AP.
So he's going to have 2 hits, 1 crit. I've got looking for 6s or 3s that aren't armor, really. But I got a fill face and a regular one, so he's still alive. Woo! And now he's going to overwatch into the guy up there.
He is going to fire the bolt cannons.
5s to hit. No, he just got the 1, so he's going to use the cover, and he'll be fine. Now the next loot is going to shoot into him.
Beam, I think it is.
Here we go.
Here we go, here we go, here we go! That's,
He's got a crit,
hitting
a crit. I need to see the same thing again. Fill face and a regular save. Fill face and a regular save. He's still alive. And now the third Luda is going to shoot into him over here. Again, he's got his 5 shots, looking for 5s. Getting the 1 hit. I just need 1 3-up. Oh, and he's good. This boy is going to move up onto the objective over here. And then my opponent's last activation will be to move and dash his guy over to that objective there. All right, so the end of the second turning point here. My opponent controls 4 objectives, 2 of which are in my table half. I controlled 2 objectives, 1 of which is in his table half. So my opponent scored 4 points on the primary. I scored 2 points on the primary, putting the score at 9-6 to the Greenskins here at the end of turning point number 2. So we will now roll off to see who will have the initiative going into turning point number 3.
Your 5 beats my 1.
My 5, so 5-1. So I will have the initiative here for the Space Marines. All right. So into the strategy step here, we both gain a CP. Putting us both at 1 CP. My opponent has spent the 1 CP on WAAAAAAAGH, which is the one that's the one with 2 regular hits becomes a crit. One of them becomes a crit. And I have not spent anything in the strategic ploys. We both don't have anything to reveal in the target reveal step, and that's going to be it for the strategy step. So we will come back to you with the firefight step. All right, my first activation here in the firefight step, my wounded guy over here, I'm going to spend 1 CP on They Shall Know No Fear, which he is not counted as being wounded for this activation. He is going to shoot into his dude bro up on top there. So I got 4 dice looking for 3s to hit. All right, so that crit makes it down to 2 dice here, and then you've got 3 that go through there. So now you have 1 regular save, and then you got 1 other dice. Does do a crit, so it's going to be a crit and a regular, so he will take 3 damage. And then he's going to charge into the Luda up over here, and he is going to attack. So looking for 3s with the chainsword. Yeah, my opponent got any hit there, and I got 1 regular hit here. So that will I will strike with this because it doesn't make a difference. You're going to strike with me with any of them. Even if I parried this, he would strike me there. So the only way I could survive is if I could have, if you only had the 2.
Here is that you ran up.
Yep.
You jammed your combat knife in the gears of his.
Yeah, the chainsword went into the def gun, and he just turned and shot me.
Knocked him off.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. He just knocked me off the side there with the barrel of the gun, taking off that 1 wound there. So I am out of action, but you do take 4 damage. And then my opponent has charged into me with a boy over here. So he's got the choppa, I've got the chainsword. I'm hitting on 3s.
I hit you twice, and 1's a crit.
1 will become a crit because of WAAAAAAAGH. We'll come back to that. All right, so when we activated, my opponent struck me with his crit there. I parried his other hit and then struck him with the crit and a regular die there, killing his guy, and I took 5 damage. All right, my guy over here is going to activate. He's going to move and dash onto the objective here and then shoot into his dude bro over on this side. So I got 4 shots here looking for 3s. That's going to be a crit and 2 regular hits there.
So 2 4-ups?
2 4-up saves. Making neither of them, so he will be out of action. So now his Luda here is going to activate and shoot into my dude bro over on this side. Hitting on 5s, so 1 crit there. So I'm looking, fishing for a fill face, or 2 3s will do. Getting the 2 regular saves, he's alive. All right, so none of his guys are within range or line of sight of me to shoot Overwatch. So now his second Luda is going to come here and shoot into my dude bro. These are going to hit on 5s and 6s, so getting 1 crit. So again, looking for those saves. Getting a fill face. Woo! This Luda up here is going to fire down into me. Getting 2 regular hits. Getting 2 regular hits. I need 2 regular saves. Oh, I don't get either of them. 1 second. He has a purity seal. Just double checking on that, so I'm going to reroll 1. Yeah, he's good. And then 1 guy over here is going to move and shoot into him as well. 5s and 6s. Getting a crit and a regular. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, big money showing him. Fill faces. No, only getting the 1 regular, so I will take crit damage, which is how much?
I think it's 6 on the def
6
gun.
damage on the def gun? Oof. And then my opponent's going to activate his guy and charge into me over on this side. So here we go. He needs literally any hit. Oh, yeah, he's got a 3. So that 3, he will strike me, even though I got the crit. That 2 will kill him. So it is a victory for the Orks, because I have wiped. There's nothing I can do, and he's just going to keep scoring the points over there. So a victory to the Greenskins here. That was a ton of fun. Getting stuck in, like, oh man, that was brutal. Your guys getting those vantage points was perfect. Just popping off my my sergeant, and I should have known better than to put him. I should have known better. Let's just put it that way. I should have known better. But they were able to get to a good position. Hubris killed me. I was hoping to be able to pop off and like move him up there and do it. So yes, bullets and hubris killed me. my two weaknesses: hubris and bullets. But yeah, that was a ton of fun. It was I think the end score was going to be probably about 15-6. So it was a brutal game, but a ton of fun. So I hope you guys have all enjoyed this. I certainly have. I have been Phil, the Glacial Geek. As always, my opponent's been Harris. And until next time, stay safe and have fun.